purpose behind the cook-off was really to challenge our team to share with us some of their passion, some of their experience and ideas. Additional concept that we decided to include in this year's Culinary Cook Off was to add a third team. We've had the fortune of growing in several different business lines, allowed us to include some different talent from different markets as well as different geographies.
This year was a slightly different challenge. We did the mystery basket. When they arrived here, we did like an unveiling of the items. We told them what main ingredients they had to have. So they had the appetizer, which was a crab. They had 2 entrees, a beef and a chicken. So they could basically have any cut of beef, any cut of chicken. The crab they could have any way they wanted as well. And then we supplied them with some 80% cocoa lint chocolate, which they had to turn into the desserts. And also with the shopping challenge, we made it a little bit more difficult, where everything had to be like organic and sustainable and locally sourced.
I competed last year, and we knew what we were doing when we walked in. We had our prep list done, we had our shopping list done, we'd already visited Wegmans site, we knew everything was in the store, but we were a little blind this time, and I actually enjoyed it. It gave us a chance to be more creative.
It really forced the teams to think on their feet. They had the challenge of working within a time limit for their shopping challenge and within certain dollar amount.
That was definitely a challenge. You didn't have a lot of time. It was basically an hour car ride, and you really had to make it all come together.
So the shopping challenge took place at Wegmans. We met there, and each team was given an hour to conduct their shopping. Teams quickly broke into smaller groups. They went through their lists.
A lot of their money was spent on the protein, so it gives them a little less money to spend on the other ingredients.
Being organic or locally sourced made it much more challenging. It's very difficult, even when they have an organic section.
We had a strategy. We positioned someone up at the front with the cart. We all grabbed a small basket and went in our separate directions with our separate list and tried to gather as many things as we could.
We split up into groups of 2. So Shannon and I tackled the produce section. We thought that would be probably the most time-consuming section that we had. We were unfortunately a little disappointed at the Wegmans challenge. We did have 2 different carts going at one point, so we did have to throw some items back.
Our plan going in there, we knew we had a time limit. We did pretty well in that aspect. I think it's because we did it as a team rather than breaking apart and then trying to find each other.
Collaboration and teamwork was evident throughout this event. I saw teams rally together and come up with some creative ideas. Finding local partners that we can source product gives us an opportunity to really connect with the local communities.
So we wanted to take the team out, give them a little bit of experience of where the products actually come from.
So Boggers is a local farm in Westminster, Maryland. So we went through a tour of the farm, as well as a tour of the full market, and behind the scenes we got to see a little bit about the operation.
Our visit to the farm today was awesome. It was great to get out of the kitchen, first of all. Beautiful scenery.
And it was just so nice to actually see how many fields of crops and what they actually produce there, and going behind the scenes, especially as a culinarian, walking into one of their walk-in coolers and seeing the crates stacked to the ceiling with produce.
In our mystery basket, we had a lot of the Boggers products. We had the honey, the tomatoes and the peaches, and the locally grown watermelon. But obviously we wanted to add a little bit of an extra touch now that they'd actually seen the products being picked or harvested. So it was nice for them to actually then be able to get their hands on that product and incorporate it into their dishes.
So after today's tour, our chefs were given the opportunity to go back through the market and pick up some additional ingredients to use. So that added an extra twist and layer in their recipe development.
It did twist our menu a little bit. We started getting more ideas. We'd kind of already ironed out some things last night that this is exactly how we're going to do it. And we got there, we're like, oh, we could do this and we could do that.
It was actually, a nice surprise. Not only were we giving back to the community, but we were also able to use even more fresh local ingredients, from produce to jarred goods to fresh baked breads.
And we found that with good quality food, quality production, it actually helps minimize the dependence of supplements. As a result, residents benefit because now they're enjoying good, made from scratch meals as opposed to something out of a can.
So for the rest of today, the teams are now in there preparing, getting all the ingredients together, getting ready for tomorrow, putting together their sauces and things like that, preparing all their vegetables.
As far as tomorrow goes, we're trying to just kind of finish up all loose ends. We're going to try to get as much prep done today, just so tomorrow it's a smooth transition from the finishing process to the table for the cook-off and the judges.
We definitely have the experience, the skill sets are there. If we just work as a team and put together one cohesive plate with stuff that we know how to do, it'll be fine. You know, knock on wood, but I think we have a really, really good chance of winning tomorrow.
Yeah, we definitely have a really great chance of winning. We're definitely gonna surprise some people and make it known that we're here to stay.
I feel real strong. Creativity, we've really pushed the boundaries as far as, you know, as much as the ingredients would let us. We're adapting as things come, and that just inspires more creativity. The pressure, having to use stuff that we wouldn't typically use, is pushing those boundaries and giving us an edge.
It was really quite enjoyable to listen to the back and forth, the planning, the compromising, the just really the innovation. It really amazed me to hear some of the exciting techniques and out-of-the-box thinking.
Good afternoon. Thank you guys for coming here today to judge our competition. We're representing the Mid-Atlantic team, and today we've prepared for you 4 different dishes and a non-alcoholic beverage. Our first dish is an appetizer of a crab stuffed wonton. We've taken the crab and tossed it in a sesame aioli, served a side of chow chow and an Asian-influenced dipping sauce that has a little bit of horseradish, a little bit of mustard, along with some sesame oil and some soy sauce. And it's served in a fried wonton shell. For our chicken dish, we have an apple grilled chicken breast served over asparagus, tossed with corn, cilantro, and beets, fresh beets. Served on the side is a peach and plum chutney, and then we have a sesame grilled toast point for you. For our beef dish, we did a Asian rubbed beef stir fry with crispy rice noodles served on top. Our side dish, or the side for it, is a roasted vegetable quinoa. For our dessert, we did grilled watermelon served on a shortbread cookie that has a cream cheese and feta spread, and then we've drizzled it with a balsamic chocolate sauce. For our spritzer here, we've done a beet and mango spritzer. Has a little bit of Sprite in it, and then what we ended up doing was making beet juice and freezing it for the ice cubes, and we popped them in. That's what gave it the nice, beautiful red color. We've garnished it with a little bit of mint and some peaches. Thank you. You guys enjoy.
Hello, I'm Chef Jeff Lyons from Team North. So I guess we'll start with our drink. We have a citrus ginger watermelon mint cooler with herb-infused ice. Our appetizer is a crab and corn salsa crostini with fried basil and a cilantro herb drizzle. Our entree is the organic ribeye beef with a ginger leek sauce and sweet and savory herb chicken, which is also organic. Our side dishes, we have a white asparagus vegetable bundle with yellow beets and red bell peppers, which are also organic. And our quinoa salad has 3 different types of bell peppers and feta cheese, also with a herb reduction. Our dessert is the peach Melba cobbler with chocolate chip whipped cream. Thank you.
I'm Rebecca Steginga from the Southern team. We tried to stick with the Southern theme from last year, but we infused it with some Latin American and Asian flavors. To start, we have a Southwestern crab bruschetta. It's served with a black bean puree, a corn relish. It's also garnished with a chipotle aioli, and we hit it with citrus zest to bring out the crab flavor. For our entree, we have a smoked beef cider served with a fried tomatillo and a chimichurri sauce. We have tempura battered asparagus that's deep fried with rice noodles and garnished with pickled watermelon rind. For our other entree, we have a peach barbecued chicken thigh. It's served with a garden vegetable quinoa cake and a beet puree, and then we've garnished it with some flash fried beet greens. And for our dessert, we did a chocolate duet. We have a chocolate torte with a praline crumble, and we have a chocolate bread pudding. It's served with a dragon fruit infused creme anglaise, and it's split with a raspberry coulis. And for our beverage, we have a smoked watermelon, peach, and dragon fruit fresca, and it is garnished with a grilled watermelon slice. That's it. Thank you.
So I remember this year's focus was on local use of high quality farm products, locally sourced products, Team South with the shaved beef, you know, it's sometimes a risky thing if it's not cut properly, but the integrity of the beef was obvious. The character still came through.
And then you have Team North with a lot of the same characteristics. The ribeye was incredibly tender.
Right.
You know, the flavors came across, and that the organic vegetables really have a more depth of flavor that's discernible, right. I think.
Yeah, and that's kind of what caught me with the dishes from Mid-Atlantic. With the chutney, it worked out really, really well, and I was very impressed how they managed the chicken, because that protein, the flavor came through beyond a traditional chicken. It was able to hold its own against the other two. This is only ever a team event. You know, it takes a qualified group of people to put this kind of effort together, to put together a program of this depth. It's a great reflection of your company. The work you put into it, from the doneness of each of the components, the vegetables, the sauces, how they were constructed, how they were layered, and the thoughtfulness put into each component is just a great experience and refreshing to experience on my end. The fact that the quality of the product being locally sourced, the grain-fed beef, the free-range chicken, it was not overwhelmed by the thought that went into producing each dish. It was enhanced and brought forward, and that's an art in itself. So that was very commendable in how that was done. The use of the peach in all the dishes, being local to the area, and what Westminster offers is phenomenal. So the location of your facility is fantastic, and then the opportunity for you all to come together and do this, it's really a treat to be a part of. It's a little bit of a challenge to be put in a position to have to, you know, split the hairs. It's not the most enviable position, but it is an honorable position to be in when you're among so many professionals. So the differential from the scores was a matter of 13 points from top to bottom. And it's not really a bottom, I mean, it's just the nature of a competition. So like I said, splitting hairs, it's really a challenging position to be in when you're tasting so many different flavors, how it's constructed, how thoughtful it was in the presentation and the dishes. At the end of the day, the North team seemed to compile plate presentations and execution a few points above the other two teams. So congratulations to the North team this year.
When Christopher Sean grabbed me and shook my hand, then I knew that we had won, and it was just like a weight being lifted off your shoulder, huge relief. Yeah, after 2 years of work.
When the North was announced, well-deserved, fantastic job. They came in with a lot of confidence. They put out some great dishes. It could have been, again, anybody's game.
When he made the announcement, I've been a part of other competitions in the past, and the way that he came out and basically said, you know, there's a 13-point spread for the North, you know, and I kind of like, I don't know if that's a hint or, you know, and then he got right into saying that the North actually, you know, took first place. It was rewarding.
I think the judges did a good job. Like I said, tough position to be in, but I think the North put out a great entree. Beef was phenomenal. We just, you know, came a little bit short this time, but we'll be back next year.
As the president of Culinary Services Group, I try to prompt our team to continually pursue excellence in all that they do, and this competition really shows that a team can be challenged with limited budgets and organic and locally sourced product that they may not be familiar with. But if you take a team of qualified individuals that are passionate about food and you ask them and challenge them to step up and show their best, this whole event encapsulated really top talent at its finest. And those are the core values that this organization represents in continuing to pursue excellence in all that we do.